and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, after hours, and TC Restani is proud to present my longtime close personal friend, one of the greatest ring announcers of all time, Rich Palladino.
Palladino.
Like I said, Palladino.
There you go.
Unbelievable. Rich Palladino. I've known you for so long. We met at the Palladino Club a long time ago. Remember that?
Sure did. And any Palladino is a Palomino. Remember that.
Really, oh. Unbelievable.
Exactly,
and I
yeah.
have a Colonel Bill Montana row down at the end of the couch, but you already know him. We have a long history.
Great to see him.
It's good to see you. Well, you're the only one who's ever said that.
Oh.
Now, ring announcer. Now, give us the 411. What exactly, for the people out there who don't know, what exactly does a ring announcer do?
Well, the ring announcer lets the fans know who's in the ring, where they're from, how much they weigh, what their nickname is, what titles they've held, that kind of good stuff. At least a good ring announcer.
Oh, really? Well, you are one of the best ring announcers in the world out there.
Thank you.
Who are your inspirations? Let's get down to brass tacks. Who are your inspiration for ring announcer? Michael Buffer?
Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel.
The legendary voice of the WWF. I don't consider it, I never will call it E. Unbelievable.
Longest tenured employee in WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it, history.
Wouldn't Vince McMahon technically be the longest reigning?
I guess the first guy on the payroll whose last name wasn't McMahon would be Mr. Finkel.
Unbelievable that now, ring announcing. Now, did you practice this? You like stand in front of a mirror and like, emulate these people? You go like, me, like with the microphone like this. You go, ladies and gentlemen. Did you do it
of
like
course.
that?
When I was a kid.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Until
when did you start ring announcing, like in front of the mirror? When you're like 5?
Oh, easily. No, I didn't discover wrestling until I was about 8.
Really?
So probably about 8 years old. I don't want to say the year.
Well, I know the year because we're roughly about the same age, but I'm still better looking out there. It's just it's the jacket. It's the jacket. It's the jacket.
It is. You look great.
Now, we have a history, a long time history. I mean, we're not just all kidding aside. I've known you now for close to 30, actually over 30 years. I used to see you out front scalping tickets going into the Worcester Centrum, trying to get good seats out there.
That wasn't me.
It wasn't you? It looked a lot like you.
Might have been me.
Now, you've been a lifelong wrestling fan. Who's your all-time favorite wrestler of all time?
Bruno Sammartino.
Bruno, is it because you're Italian like we are? We the Paisans here?
That's it.
Bruno Sammartino.
Restani, Palladino, Sammartino.
Hey.
Law firm.
There we go. It could be a law firm. A lot of lawsuits coming up with that. Now, you got your big break kind of through me and the Colonel.
I did, yes, 1993.
October 23rd, 1993, our longtime friend, the late, great Tony Rumble, was putting on a show, and he said he needed a ring announcer, and I said, I know just the guy.
I wasn't scalping tickets.
You weren't scalping tickets to that one, no.
And they actually let me in for that one. They gave me a couple of shekels for my services.
Really?
And that was the first time I got to introduce the Colonel.
Boy, that must have been a thrill. I mean, you're like...
Was that you and Ray Odyssey? I think it was Ray Odyssey,
He doesn't remember 5 minutes ago. You think he's remember 25 years ago?
I don't know.
Yes, it was Surfer Ray Odyssey.
Okay, great. Unbelievable down there. Now, the memory I have of that night was it was the first time interacting with the Iron Sheik.
Oh.
And he, after his big match that he had that night, was in the locker room with nothing on but his curly boots. And all of a sudden, he had a Snicker craving. And he walked out into the hallway with nothing on other than his curly boots. And he saw this kid, probably about 13 years old, and he goes, little boy, oh, go get the Sheik a Snicker bar.
Oh, my Lord.
The kid went and got the Sheik a Snicker bar, and he goes, I'll get autograph for you. He didn't have any 8x10s on him, obviously.
No.
So he walked into the coach's room, peeled a piece of the calendar off, and wrote Sheik.
And you know what? These are all the things that I miss being out there for the whole show. But knowing the Iron Sheik like we do, I wouldn't doubt it.
It's a God's honest truth. Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Now, speaking of amazing, in June of 1996, you, myself, and a Colonel went on a road trip to Hartford, Connecticut for a WCW house show that our good friend Kevin Sullivan got us into.
Yes.
Now, confirm or deny, you were there this. You remember what happened to the Colonel that night with Kevin Sullivan, correct?
He had tape wrapped all around
He looked like the mummy. Now, is there a picture? I think you may have a picture in your archives of this somewhere. Hopefully you can find it. We can superimpose it on that. But Colonel, do you remember that night when you became a mummy?
Yes, I did.
Do you have anything to say to Kevin out there? He could be watching.
He might be.
I tell you something, Mr. Sullivan. I'm old enough now. And I'm old enough to kick your butt and the ring anywhere. So watch out, Mr. Sullivan.
Weren't you old enough 27 years ago? You were like 70 then. But getting back there. But
you look great, Colonel.
Are you on his payroll? That's the second compliment you've given him. Now, that night after the show, myself, you, and the Colonel had dinner. Throw the names out of the people we had dinner with that night. This is a shoot, ladies and gentlemen.
Starting at the top,
Starting at the top.
Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Woo! Before Cumberland Farms,
Arn Anderson.
the enforcer.
The late woman, Nancy Sullivan.
That's true.
The late Miss Elizabeth.
That is true.
Jeez, that was just some of the names.
That was
I mean, the whole...
Unbelievable. Now, there's a picture on the screen right now.
Oh, boy.
Of you in the middle of Elizabeth and woman.
Yes.
And who was the photographer that?
That was you.
That was me.
One of my most cherished photos.
It is. I had one also, but the Colonel lost it at the penthouse one day. I don't want to talk about the fire extinguisher accident that happened.
Oh, Colonel.
So I lost that picture. It's gone forever. Just like they are. They're gone forever, and my picture is gone forever. But that was an unbelievable night. Now, the other thing I always remember when people say Rich Palladino, other than ring announcing that time we had dinner with all those superstars, was an ECW show. Now, you ring announce for ECW in the Northeast.
Yes, basically in New England.
In New England.
From November 23rd of 1996 until early 99.
Not to be precise, but you remember the dates and everything
I
like
sure
that.
do.
Now, there was an incident, I believe it was October of 1996.
Oh, no, it was November 23rd. It was my first night.
Oh, it was your first night. Okay.
yeah.
And it was in Revere, Colonel's hometown down there.
Yep.
For those of you who ever watched ECW out there, the mass transit incident
Yes.
that took place.
Yes.
That was the night that New Jack went berserk with a machete on this kid's head.
Yeah.
Now I was backstage with the Colonel was there. We were visiting our good friend Pink Assassin was there. Taz we were talking with Taz
Of course.
the connection to our good friend Tony Rumble.
Yeah.
And we just heard the crowd just go ooh. And then all of a sudden, like 5 seconds later, you come strolling through screaming, "We need towels! We need all this!" Because this kid was bleeding to death.
Yes.
What was your reaction? Your first night in there?
First of all, I'd never been that close to so much blood in my life. Second of all, the kid's father was yelling at me to ring the effing bell.
Really?
Because he's like, 17, ring that. And I wasn't doing anything until Paul Heyman told me to do anything.
Right.
So, yes, I came to the back and I did scream, "We need towels now."
Well, it was more like, "We need towels now." It was like a 14-year-old girl.
not my
ran
ring
in there.
announcing
No, it was
voice.
not your ring
No.
announcing voice. And then it was mass confusion for mass transit
Oh
that
my
night.
God, it was
I mean, it was
awful.
crazy. And then I think, didn't we and you run into that kid like a month or two later in Hartford, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island,
Yeah.
at a show, and he had like this bandana covering the big,
Yeah, the 50
massacre.
50 stitches.
The 50. Now I had 50 stitches in my chest when I had my heart surgery, but I had a professional doctor doing that, not New Jack. So.
yeah.
And
He's a surgeon in his own right.
He is a surgeon, an urban surgeon, if you want to call it. out there.
Absolutely.
Now, you have any inclination of retiring from doing this? Maybe when the voice goes?
When the voice goes, when it's no longer fun is what I tell people, and it's
Right.
still fun. We're going on, well, I've known you for 30, but I've been ring announcing for 26.
26 years.
Is that ridiculous?
It is ridiculous. Is it the same tuxedo from 26 years ago?
No, I've outgrown other ones. This
Have
is-
you? But you shrunk
is-
for a while. I remember that.
I did. I lost a lot of weight.
Didn't even
then I put it back
recognize you. I
on.
was like, "Who's that guy?" It's Rich Palladino. I was like, "No, it's not."
We're looking to get back to that
We're
someday.
really unbelievable. We have a fitness trainer that works out with Bull over there. Maybe I'll pass on the word for that. Can you ring announce me? I've never been ring announced before by Rich
ladies and
Palladino.
gentlemen.
So
Sure.
look at it. Look straight ahead at the camera out
I'll
there.
look at this one.
There you go.
Please welcome TC Restani.